forgot to ask you some questions. I just got my groceries. And there's some things that are missing, so... And then I have to talk to you about the strainer. So anyway, call me back, please. Love you. Bye.
Jaylo.
Yeah?
How you doing, babes?
Oh, I feel so much better. I feel really good. I just had a long bath with bubbles and Epsom salt. And then I drained the tub, took a shower, got dressed, and I'm feeling really good.
I'm not a bath taker. I was about to give the exact date of the last time I took one, which is back in the 90s.
When you were a kid.
When I was a kid. I was probably high school age, actually.
Wow.
But I haven't taken a bath since then.
Yeah.
I may have to try the hot water with Epsom salt for a bath.
It's so good. It's good for your skin. If you have any aching muscles or joints, it's good for that too. And so what I read, that what it does to your joints is it has a lot of magnesium in it. So if your joints are aching or your muscles hurt or something, it has a lot of proteins and magnesium to strengthen what's hurting. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Maybe I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, you might enjoy it.
Your skin feels really good right now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not touching it right now, but you were a few
we were
minutes
on the
ago.
couch a minute ago.
Yeah, you're a few minutes ago.
I was
Yeah.
having some fun.
Uh-oh. Well, partly also because of the lotion. The lotion I use is literally absorbs into my skin. So
how does that work? Do you rub it in before you get in the bath or after you get out?
Oh no, I rub it in after.
Okay.
So whether I'm in here or in the bathroom, I rub it in directly after, and it absorbs better in the skin that way.
You might need to get me some of that thing. Whoa.
Oh, but you don't use lotions.
I don't know. I'll experiment.
Oh.
Maybe I'll just use some of yours. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take the 5-finger discount before I go home.
Okay.
Yes.
How would I go about that, Bub?
No, I said maybe I'll do that.
Oh, you will, huh?
I said maybe.
Maybe, okay.
Yes.
Well, you can always borrow a little bit of mine, Bubs.
Thank you, babes.
Yeah.
You had some issues sleeping last night.
Yes, I did. I got up.
Which meant that I had a few issues, but not as many as you.
Mm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you laughing at my
No.
uncomfortableness?
I wouldn't do that. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so I woke up a couple of times because I was feeling particularly a little bit crampy, which only means one thing. They were a little bit intense, but it wasn't to the point to where, I can't get up. And I thought, I need to go to the bathroom anyway. Might as well just get up. So I go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's what you meant. Because it could also mean your friend's visiting.
That's exactly what I was trying to say without saying it.
Oh, okay. Got
I said that could only mean one thing.
But then you said you went to the bathroom.
Well, I did because I felt like maybe I should go.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I decided, you know what? I'm really, when I woke up, it was hot. So I thought, I better turn on the AC because I'm starting to sweat here. And I left the door open a little bit. And then later on this morning, I think it might have been 6 or something, I get up again and I have to go to the bathroom again. So, and then I was coughing in the midst of sleeping.
I woke up maybe twice when you were up, but it was for like 30 seconds both times, and then I was back out.
Because, okay.
So it wasn't like you kept me up all night or anything like that.
Okay, good. Well, I would hope not.
What did you do when you woke up? Officially, besides for using the bathroom?
Like after 4-ish?
Yeah.
I was just listening to music. I thought about getting up and reading, but I'm like, I don't feel like moving right now. I'm going to try to relax a little bit, and I just listened to some music, and that was about it.
I thought you said you just got up after 6. Oh, that's when you actually got out of bed.
That's when to go to the bathroom?
Gotcha. Okay, so you woke up at 4.
I woke up at 4, but before then, I went to the bathroom and put on the AC.
Nice. And it was hot last night.
It was hot.
We were both feeling it. After the movies, I said I need to turn on the AC. And you were kind enough to let me do that.
Yes, and then I had to turn it on again because sometimes it feels like it's stuffy in here, and it's weird because the heater isn't on at all, and sometimes I feel like it's stuffy in here. Do you have you noticed that?
I have.
I don't know if it's just because it's the paneling or how it's built. I don't know what the deal is.
You also don't have a fan in your bedroom.
I don't have a fan in the bedroom. That helps a little bit, but it doesn't always help completely. I don't know. Or it could be that I have one of those windows in here that has a screen, but for some reason I haven't figured out how to open the window enough to get the air through the screen. But I usually don't sleep with the windows open for good reason.
I think I can tell this story.
Can I say? I think I know what it's about.
I don't think you're going to get it right, but take a guess.
Your ex kept her back door open.
That's wrong, but that's a really good guess. I wasn't going to go there, but yes, I dated a girl who told me that sometimes in the summer she'd just leave her back door wide open. And I said, what else do you do? Do you put on Rape Me by Nirvana on repeat and spread your legs open?
You know what's really interesting about that song? Because since you brought that song up, which is a disturbing song, but it's supposed to be an anti-rape song.
Yes, it is.
Which is really weird.
No. Yeah. She did not put on that song on repeat.
I don't like that song. Please don't email me that song.
I don't know why I would do that.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, okay. So what? Give me the basic premise. Don't give any.
I won't give any names. This was back in the 90s. My mom used to keep our windows open during the summer because it was like super hot in the apartment, and we did not live on the first floor. And then I'm visiting a relative. I may be 11. I'm explaining that, there's no inside fan. So my mom has to keep the windows open. And then my relative tells a story about how one of her friends used to keep the window open until somebody broke into her house and raped her. But this lady was on the first floor.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, that is exactly why I wouldn't live on the ground floor, because somebody has easier access to my window. Mm-hmm. That's really scary.
It is.
That is really scary. That doesn't make me feel good. Yeah, that's scary.
No.
Very scary.
It's very scary, babes.
Yes.
We started talking about serial killers before going to bed last night.
Well, a specific one.
Your man.
My man?
Didn't you date him before we got together?
He died before I was even a teenager.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, now you're just spoiling rumors.
Sorry, babes, I didn't know.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
I don't think I should talk about that type of stuff before bed.
Well, you're the one who brought it up, did you?
Was it me? No, I thought it was you.
Oh, you both brought it up. I don't remember who brought it up first.
It was a fun conversation, though. I mean, not fun.
No, you did bring it up because I think you said something about, some person was killed in, here, and, Anne Rule said something about it. She doesn't believe it was Ted Bundy who killed her. We're talking about cases.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I vaguely remember what it was. It's something to that effect. There was a teenager killed in Oregon in the 1970s. They didn't find her body until the mid-80s in a park. Mm-hmm. And they did DNA tests. This was last year. They were able to identify her. She was a runaway from a foster home, I think.
Wow.
If I'm remembering the story right, which I'm probably not. But for some reason, when they're talking about, who could have killed her, Ted Bundy did not come up, even though he used to visit this area.
And in the Northwest, yep.
Yes.
I think he might have, I know he was in Utah, Washington, parts of Washington, and Oregon, I believe. Might have been Oregon.
Yeah, he did a fair amount of killing.
And in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
And other places, too.
Other places.
Yes.
Other places.
But that's how that came up, before bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Anywho.
We had a good conversation this morning. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you, not related to serial killers.
Or cereal.
Right. Did you listen to any good music this morning while you were waiting for me to wake up?
No, it was just my playlist. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to, I didn't want to wake anybody up. So, or you up rather, or anybody else.
Can we talk about the religious debate we had this morning about the Middle East and geographical debate? I guess.
I guess, I suppose, and yeah.
We should say we have not been getting straight answers from Miss A.
No.
But my belief, based on people I've talked to and things I've read, is that Israel is part of Africa. Like they say the Middle East, but it's really part of the continent of Africa. And Alana believes that Israel is part of Asia.
But it is, though. It's located in Asia. It may share a border with Africa, but it's not. To me, I'm kind of wondering if it's on the actual continent because it's located in Asia. It does border Egypt, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily a part of Africa, even though it is a part of the Middle East.
What separates Israel from Egypt? There's no body of water, to the best of my knowledge, right?
We'll have to check. We'll have to find that out.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm really bad with geography.
Yep, see? And I brought that up too. I said, this is coming from someone who is not very good with geography. I'm not the best at geography, but I have the basic concept.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah.
But just to be honest, but I've always heard that Israel is really part of Africa, but they try to label it as the Middle East, so people there feel special.
The Middle East, well, it is a part of the Middle East.
Right, but the Middle East is in Africa. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, but it's the Middle East is a big region. It probably does span Africa, but it also spans Asia.
But they have to be connected by landmass. So how do you determine when one continent ends and the other begins?
I think we should look
because North America is separated by water, right? So we're separated from other continents from water.
Yes, we are.
So it's not like we just connect at some point to Europe. Although I think we used to at one point. During an ice age, but we don't live in an ice age anymore.
No, we don't.
Or we live in the beginning of one, is what I've heard scientists say. We're supposedly entering an ice age.
No, but a lot of scientists have come out and said that's still a theory that hasn't been disproven.
It hasn't been disproven. What?
I just wanted to see if you're awake.
They're all good Christians.
Oh, hey. Hey, now you're just mocking.
I would never do that.
Tickled? Whoa!
All right.
You better watch, I'll tweak your toes.
Okay. I love you, babes.
I'll tweak your toes.
I love you. I don't know how you had to knock the recorder out of my hand.
I should look for things in your hand when I have a feeling that you're recording.
We already figured that problem.
Yes, I know. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
I'm going to say I'm recording. And you got to ask if I'm recording or not.
I said, what? Speaking English, please.
Oh. I'm going to learn how to say I'm recording in Swahili.
I don't know Swahili.
Well, good. I can still say
I'll just check out your hand and I'm like, oh, okay. I know this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
We were talking yesterday at one point and you said, are you recording this?
I did because
I don't record everything.
I did because I was like, oh, I better go ask to make sure that I'm not going to say any incriminating information that might incriminate me or you.
Yes.
That's why I asked.
Okay.
But also because I didn't want to make that same discovery earlier in the morning, which he is still laughing over.
Well, you weren't that freaked out by it. You didn't go off on me.
I didn't go off on you, but I was still upset with you.
Oh.
I was.
But babes.
What?
When I die, which hopefully won't be for a while, you will be very glad I did that.
Really?
Yes. Because you're going to have more stuff to listen to.
But I said to you that it's possible that I may not be able to listen to your voice at all for a long time. I don't know how long, because we're just we're just talking about it, but
yeah.
speculating. I don't know how long. It might be a year or 2 years or even 5 years, maybe in months. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to listen to your voice like for a long time.
There was supposedly a documentary that came out on Marlon Brando, and it's just recordings of him talking.
Wow.
With pictures. We may have talked about that here.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Wow.
I think it's called Talk to Me, Marlon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And who put those things together?
I don't know.
Interesting. Yes.
Babes.
Yes.
I was finally able to show you Balance of Terror yesterday.
It was good. It was good. Yes.
Would you like me to give a recap?
Yes, because you've seen it more than once.
I've definitely.
And now I understand why you do like it. But go on.
Yes. It starts off, the captain is about to marry a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. But they haven't heard from these outposts out in space. Mm-hmm. And so they're getting a little bit antsy. Captain is starting to perform the ceremony. Then we hear the bridge say, all hands, red alert, captain of the bridge. Everybody starts running. Captain heads to the bridge. We go to a break. We hear Space the Final Frontier. Then I skip. We hear da 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 da. And then go back to the ship.
Right.
Kirk has now joined much of his crew on the bridge. And they're talking about how this could be a Romulan attack because another outpost is missing. They believe another... Outposts 2 and 3 are missing. 4 is under attack, I believe. Mm-hmm. So they're headed towards 4. They believe it's the Romulans. Mm-hmm. Spock pulls up a map, which of course I can't read.
Yeah.
But it's shown on every deck of the station.
We both have a hard time reading maps.
Yes. Kirk comes on the intercom and tells a story about how, hey, there was a war over 100 years ago between the Federation and Romulans. And back then, all we had was these subspace radios. And that's how we negotiated the peace treaty to the war. Mm-hmm. So no side has ever seen the other in our conflict. But as part of our treaty, there's an area called the neutral zone that neither the Federation or the Romulans are allowed to enter, or else it will be considered an act of war.
Yeah.
And Spock comes on and explains that, Earth and the Federation basically think that the Romulans are a very warlike species, and only the Romulans know what they think of us.
Oh, wow.
Communication ends. Styles, who is the navigator in this episode, says, we know for sure it's the Romulans. Mm-hmm. And he says something about there's going to be a Romulan bird of prey, and it looks like this. The captain is basically, well, how do you know this? And he explains that in the war with the Romulans, a bunch of his relatives dies. Mm-hmm. To which the president says, that was their war, Mr. Styles, not yours.
Right.
They go back to fighting. They go to Outpost 4, talk to the commander of the outpost right before it's destroyed. They are able to somehow tap into communication channels and see the bridge of the Romulan ship. Mm-hmm. And it does come out that they look just like Spock, who is a Vulcan. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're chasing the ship, which they discover, the Enterprise discovers, has a cloaking capability.
Right.
So they cloak. The Enterprise starts firing their phasers randomly and hits the ship. Mm-hmm. Right? And we get to see the bridge of the Romulan ship, not just on the view screen, but we get to see it from their point of view. Mm. And how the commander of the Romulans is handling things. Spoiler alert, this commander will come up in other episodes, or the actor who plays him well.
The Mr. Styles.
No, the commander of the Romulan ship. The actor who plays him is Mark Leonard, who went on to play Spock's father.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And we'll get there at some point, but not today. Kirk calls a meeting of the senior staff in his briefing room. Mm-hmm. At this meeting, Styles goes off on Spock and says, you know more about these people than you're letting on, Mr. Spock. I think we should attack them. Spock explains that there is speculation that he believes is true, that the Romulans split off from the Vulcans a couple thousand years ago. Okay, and that they need to attack the ship. They go after the ship. Styles makes a couple other jabs at Spock here and there. Eventually, the Romulan ship, gets him some shots at the Enterprise. Styles has to go down to help with phasers. Spock's doing some stuff. He goes into the phaser room. Styles makes one more jab at Spock's Vulcan heritage. Spock leaves the room. They have the ship. They can't fire the weapons. And Kirk is saying, somebody fire the weapons over the intercom. Spock goes in, sees that Mr. Styles is out, fires the weapons, saves Styles.
Yes.
There's this great exchange on the view screen between Mark Leonard and William Shatner, where they're talking about, we could help you, but Mark Leonard saying, that's not the way. And he gives this great line where he says, in another reality, I could have called you friend.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
They self-destruct the Romulan ship.
Yep.
We go to sickbay. Styles is like, Spock saved me, and after I said all that shit about him, he rescued me.
Well, he didn't say it that way, but...
You might as well, huh?
Oh, goodness.
And Spock is like, this shit you're referring to is me.
All right, that's enough.
Okay.
Stay on point there.
I am. Sorry. He's like, I merely saved a skilled navigator.
Yeah, that's
I
what
have no emotions.
I have no emotions, yeah.
Dr. McCoy explains that the only casualty was the man who's supposed to get married. Kirk goes down to the chapel, sees his bride. She hugs him. They exchange a few words, and that's the end of the episode.
Yes.
What did you think of this? I mean, I know you briefly said that you liked it, but...
I did. I thought it was really sad that her soon-to-be husband was the one casualty that died on their ship. Yeah. It's pretty sad.
What does Mr. Styles teach us about fighting other people's battles?
He shouldn't. No. Are you talking about the Vulcans and the Romulans?
Well, I'm talking about he's still caught up in the war that happened 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Where relatives of his died.
Right. Well, you know what that kind of reminds me of?
Tell me.
I know it's a different... It does remind me of the connection between that and Major Kira on Deep Space Nine.
Why is that?
Because when she first gets on Deep Space Nine, when she first joins the Deep Space Nine,
yeah,
she was coming to grips with being a terrorist and how the Bajorans were at war with the Cardassians. Remember? So she's kind of like caught up in that. I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of that.
I hear what you're saying.
But maybe it's not quite like that.
I would say that Kira actually fought against the Cardassians.
Yeah.
Instead of Styles, who lost relatives, who fought against the Romulans.
Okay.
To me,
yeah,
what it reminds me of is people in the South who are still talking about how the South is going to rise again. Right, because they're reliving the Civil War.
And they're still
over
reliving
100 years
it.
have passed.
Right.
And they're still caught up in the South is going to rise again.
Right.
That's what I thought of.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I didn't think of it that way, but okay.
What does Mr. Styles teach us about having preconceived notions about somebody based on their race?
It's interesting because it's two different species, right? They're two different. It's not quite like ethnicities, but they're two different species that may have been connected together.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I mean, I don't know if this was what their intention was.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, Styles reminds me of the typical Southerner. In fact, it may not have been their intention at all, because I know that this episode is supposedly based on an old World War II movie. But that's how I thought of it. I thought of him as one of those people who still believes in the Confederate flag.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just me.
Uh-oh.
Because he has this hatred of the Romulans, and he
Yeah.
lets that affect his feelings for his commanding officer, Mr. Spock.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
What does this episode teach us about respecting our enemies?
So my understanding is that this is the first time that their enemies, the Romulans, attack.
This is the first time in all of Star Trek that we see the Romulans.
Are you talking about respecting them as far as how to fight them off, or?
Well, look, what I go to is at a couple points in the episode, William Shatner talks about Mark Leonard and says he's doing what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the episode, the line I talked about earlier is Mark Leonard says, in another reality, I could have called you friend.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like Mark Leonard hates the Enterprise, right?
Right.
But he learns to respect Kirk.
Right.
And we kind of see that.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't even think of it that way. But that's good to know. That's good. It's interesting to think about.
But you don't have anything else to add on.
No, I don't. You pretty much summed that up.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does this episode teach us about, how do I want to word this? Brains versus muscle.
What are you talking about?
We have the Romulan ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe at one point when we see the point of view of the Romulan crew, there's a remark that this is the strongest ship in the fleet.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And we know that the Federation is up there. It's, it ain't some like little freighter starship.
Yes.
But it's not the only Constitution class starship.
Uh-huh.
Right? And so the Romulan ship could outpower the Enterprise, but
yes.
the Enterprise, they're intelligent.
They are.
Not to say that the Romulan ship isn't intelligent.
No.
But it feels like they're a little bit more arrogant than the crew of the Enterprise.
Yes, I would agree. Absolutely.
And that's what gets them in trouble.
I would agree. Okay, so remember the Red Squad?
Yes, of course.
Does that kind of remind you of the episode of the Red Squad in Deep Space Nine?
In what sense?
Well, remember how the Red Squad was like the biggest, baddest ship or the biggest, baddest group in the Starfleet Academy?
Yes.
That Nog wanted to join.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time he was commanding for briefly on the Red Squad, which is made up of a bunch of young cadets.
On the ship that they had.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they thought that they had the brains, but they didn't have the brains. And they were destroyed.
I guess you could say it's like that.
Kind of, except it's not.
The Romulans are actual officers. They have a commission.
Right.
It speaks to me of what happens when you're too arrogant and you just rely on your muscle versus somebody who may not be as strong.
Yeah.
But they know that they have to take every option into consideration.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and especially, and speaking of intelligence, when you explained to me that their ship was cloaked and they decloaked to attack the Enterprise. Mm-hmm. But, was it Spock that fired the phaser?
Spock had to fire the phaser at the end of the episode.
Yeah, Spock had to fire the phaser and they had to find a way to attack, their ship. And they really had to think about that.
Yes.
Very good.
What does...
What?
I'm trying to think of the best question to ask you. What does the Doctor teach us about pacifism?
Well, wait a minute. The Doctor was not a part of the attacking, right? Because he was taking care of the casualties.
He was taking care of the casualties, but he's also in the staff meeting and trying to say, hey, do we really want to be responsible for starting a war? He goes to Captain Kirk's quarters.
Yeah.
And basically says, take care of yourself and all this stuff.
I'm not going to do it.
He doesn't say that, but we know that he doesn't want to go to war.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the argument that I've made about war in general, right? You don't, we shouldn't have to go to war if we don't have to go to war.
And most of the times we don't. Like, there's no need to be in a war in Iraq or Afghanistan.
But we're talking about another war, though.
Okay, go ahead.
But that's kind of what I think about when I think about Dr. McCoy.
Well, let's take a look at Star Trek. This episode comes out in 1966, when we're still in the beginning stages of the Vietnam War.
Yep.
And most of the country, I believe at that point, was in favor of it.
Right.
Is it risky to have a character like McCoy in this episode? From the standpoint of, this is a TV show, and we're showing a character who's questioning a war. Or possible war.
It's hard to say. I don't know. Well, it's hard for me to understand this because, I didn't grow up in the mid-60s. I didn't see it I didn't see Star Trek while it was actually on the air. Mm-hmm. So I really couldn't answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very lefty shows in a lot of ways. I said shows because the franchise leans very heavily to the left, I think. There are some exceptions, but I think for the most part that's the case.
Well, what about when you go into the later Star Trek, like Deep Space Nine, and Kira is one of the most religious people on Deep Space Nine?
I think that's great. And it shows a real duality because she's super religious, but yet she kills people and injures people and doesn't apologize for it.
Right. So she's kind of being pulled in different directions.
Yeah. She's kind of a hitman for God. God's hitman.
Oh my God.
Or hit woman.
Hit woman?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
God's hit woman. That would make a great name for a B movie. God's hit woman.
No.
Okay.
That's a little weird.
She's an angel sent down to heaven to kill people.
Angels aren't supposed to kill people, though.
Oh, you're not. Neither am I.
I know I'm not an angel, but...
Okay.
You're not either.
Oh, I'm pretty close there, Jaylo.
Not really.
Would you recommend this episode to anybody?
Yes, I would.
How would you sell it to them?
I just say watch it.
Okay.
No, just watch it and see for yourself if you like it, because it is good. I'm not going to give any explanations.
Yeah. How different was it watching it yesterday versus hearing it on Friday?
I think because I wasn't quite all there on Friday. I was pretty sleepy.
Okay.
And that was probably the biggest reason why I just wasn't following. And then of course there was my phone thing, but that's a different thing. But hearing it and actually being awake for it, definitely made a difference.
What are your feelings about the original series now that you've seen a few episodes?
I like it. It's interesting how even though it was made in the 60s, how the technology in the Star Trek universe has evolved. Mm-hmm. Did they have replicators in the original series?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
They had like little slots where they would stick these cards in and get food. Mm-hmm. And it's never really been, it probably has in some technical manual, but to the best of my knowledge, I'm not quite sure how that works.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Well, good. Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
No.
Okay.
No.
Check out Balance of Terror.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yes.
Yes. Well, then we hung out in the living room for a while.
We did.
Before making dinner. Which was fairly easy.
Yes. Well, we actually didn't hang out. We didn't hang out in the living room.
What did we do?
We were kind of talking in here.
I thought we went out to the living room.
That was earlier.
No, we were hanging out in the living room. We came in here, did this, watched Balance of Terror, then went back to the
that you are correct. Yes. And we were there for maybe a few more minutes, and then We popped the frozen pizza in the oven, and it were good.
Yes. I would have done something a little bit more complex, but Alana was into the frozen pizza.
Well, because I didn't know what was going to happen this weekend, and I'm just like, we can make something the next day.
It was good, though, babes.
It was good.
Can I get a kiss?
No.
Why not?
Why? No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Give me a kiss. You played some Luther Vandross for me.
Oh, yes. Luther Vandross. It's good stuff.
Good stuff, babes.
Yes. Nice, silky, velvety voice.
It's fun to hear.
Who is no longer here.
Oh.
And then after dinner, I got out this ice cream that I really like. It's from Tillamook, and we had some Tillamook banana split ice cream.
It's really good with chocolate sauce.
Oh. And I believe we still have some left over for tonight.
Oh, good. We have a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
How much?
I think enough for 2 small bowls.
Nice.
Yes.
Good deal.
Good deal there, Jaylo.
That's what we had. So it was good stuff.
Yes. Then we started with the movies.
Yes, we did.
Would you like to give the recap of Charade?
I will set it up because I was really tired and there's some parts of it that I kind of fell asleep through, and some person next to me was trying to get me to wake up.
There was a girl in my past. I'm not going to say any names.
Thank you.
And one day after me and this girl don't talk for, I don't know, a year, she gives me a call.
I think I know what you're talking about, but get going.
Okay, I pick up the phone and I say, I'm making dinner. And her reply was, you're always making dinner.
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes when you say, oh, I was tired when I watched this, that's what I think about.
Oh, thanks.
No, I love you, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
I think I might know who that is, but I could be completely wrong
You
about it.
could be, but you might.
I'll ask you about it privately.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way.
Yes.
As a follow-up, without giving away the idea, what did you think of what I told when I explained my cousin's idea? Yesterday, after we were talking about
that's
fights.
not a good idea. That's stupid. That sounds like a very bad reality show.
It made me laugh.
I know.
But anyways,
you were young and stupid back then.
I was 19.
I love you, but you were young and dumb back then.
I'm young, dumb, and full of cum.
All right. That's enough.
Oh, by the way, we should talk about my COVID idea.
What?
So,
what were you talking about?
We haven't talked about it here.
Oh.
Earlier this week, so Biden, and let me give a little bit of explanation. There are all these incentives for people to get the COVID shot, right? And Biden's promoting them. There's going to be a state lottery here. There, various other things.
More dirty money.
I think, okay. And
more dirty bribes.
Some restaurants are giving free drinks and meals and whatnot.
More dirty meals and drinks.
Okay, what else? In any event, I'm joking with Alana and I say, well, did you hear what Biden said the other day? And she's like, no, what did he say? And I said, he explained that starting from July 4th until Labor Day weekends, it's going to be up on the presidential website. You can download these coupons and you can use them with any streetwalker in the U.S. And she can turn in these coupons for money without having to worry about prosecution or being arrested. And you're like, oh, I bet he did you that. I'm like, no, I just made that
No,
up.
I said, that sounds crazy. I didn't think he actually said it.
And I came up with a name for that fake program. And the name is Coming Against COVID.
Oh.
That might be a good name for this episode. Coming Against COVID.
Oh, yeah? Well, feel this.
Sorry, babe.
Oh, I know. Okay. All right. That was not a good idea.
I went for the armpit.
Oh.
Just like you did, babe.
Okay,
Do you like Coming Against COVID? It doesn't sound like you do.
Not really.
Oh.
No.
All right. Babes,
yes.
You pontificated again. I think it's time for you to get back to talking about Charade.
Yeah, because we went off very much off track.
Yeah, you took us off.
It's your fault. Well, if you didn't
talk
talk about said person, then we wouldn't have gone off track.
Sorry, but it was your fault. But go ahead.
So I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to have you fill in some of the stuff, because there were parts of it where I was just really, really out of it and sleepy.
Yes.
and that was not good. So we're setting this up where this woman, Regina Lampert is played by Audrey Hepburn, and I think she has to be in her 30s, right?
That sounds about right. Early 30s.
Early 30s. So she was quite young. And she has been finding out about her husband and that he's been lying to her for a long time. And wasn't she like coming back from somewhere?
She was coming back from a trip with her nephew, who's about 7, and her sister.
Was it Jean-Louis?
That was her nephew.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I thought that wasn't her nephew, but she...
No, it was.
Okay. So she's coming home with Jean-Louis and her sister. I forgot what her name was.
They may not have said it in the movie.
No, I think they did. I just don't remember what her name was.
It was Joan Louis.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, go ahead.
She goes back to her house, realizes as she opens the door that the floor in her house is dirty and almost everything is gone. And she is just freaking out. Was it an officer or an embassy person?
An officer comes to her house and takes her down to the police station.
And he has to, he tells her that her husband is dead and she identifies his body in the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only imagine what she's going through. Before she goes home though, she meets, Cary Grant's character.
You're getting this a little bit wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go. Okay.
She met Cary Grant's character. Cary Grant plays a guy.
Well, I would hope he does.
Well, we're not going to say his character's name.
Okay.
For obvious reasons if you've seen the movie.
Right.
And before her trip ends, there's a scene where Audrey Hepburn is eating something. Her nephew squirts her.
Oh, that's right. Then
I forgot about that. She has this interchange between her and her sister. Cary Grant comes over and they talk for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are correct.
Yes.
I forgot that part. Sorry. This is before she goes home and finds out that her, everything has been taken and, the floor is dirty.
Yes, I just said that.
Okay.
Keep going, babes.
Are you the one setting it up?
Alright. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Audrey Hepburn is in this movie. Alright, go ahead. Alright, give me a kiss.
No.
Yeah, because you need to calm down.
No, I don't mind.
Okay, so I wouldn't do that on purpose. Give me a kiss. I don't like thoughts.
Okay. Now that we're a little calm.
Yes.
Until the next time. Until you're a rascal again. So anyway, she identifies the body and, Cary Grant says, well, he can't stay here. You have to go somewhere else. So I believe he gets her a hotel. They both go to a hotel. Correct?
I don't think that's how it goes, but she ends up getting this hotel. She ends up getting this hotel.
Okay. Yes. And, some other things are happening. Wasn't there a part where she goes back to her hotel room and there's like some men in there that she doesn't know? That's
a little bit later in the movie.
Okay. I think you're going to have to fill some of this in because there's part of it that
Do you want me to take control for a little while?
Yes.
Audrey Hepburn takes, or Audrey, if you want
Audrey.
Audrey.
Or Odd, maybe.
Or Odd.
Audrey.
Like, homeboy from, Love and Death on Long Island.
Oh, yeah, Odd.
Kind of like me and Odd.
Anyway. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. But anyways, back to this. Audrey Hepburn's staying at this hotel, and she goes to the American Embassy to meet with Walter Matthau, who explains that these men are... We should say that there's a funeral. And at the funeral, a couple guys came in to pay respects to her dead husband and wife.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
So now, American Embassy goes in, talks to Walter Matthau, who explains, the men who were at your husband's funeral, we believed helped him steal a bunch of money, and they won it.
Mm-hmm.
And we want it too. If you give it to us first, we'll keep you safe. Okay? And he gives her his number and says, call me anytime at this number, day or night. I'll answer it. We'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back to the hotel. These men are in her room. She gets scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she had run into Cary Grant earlier.
Yes.
And he runs into the room, scares them off. Everything seems good.
Mm-hmm. He almost gets beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ends up climbing out of her window and going into this other room where the men that he scared off ran, and explains, listen, if we're going to make this look convincing, you guys got to like slow your roll for a little while. I'm starting to get in good with her.
Right. She's the only, I'm the only one that she trusts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes back, introduces himself, gives a fake name, and says that he was a friend of her husband's.
Mm-hmm.
Chilling out, having a good time. And at one point, she gets a call from, I want to say, one of the guys who
yes,
in the group,
yes,
who explains that the man in your room is not who he says he is.
You don't tell him anything.
She runs away. She's a little bit nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they connect again, and he explains, well, I'm actually the brother of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to say anything, but he's my brother. He died, and I'm here to help, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she believes him. They start hanging out again. Things are good. And eventually, they get a call that her nephew has been kidnapped.
Yep.
John
Louis. Yep.
Goes over to the room, and they say, well, how do we know that you guys don't have the money? So they agree to search everybody's room.
Mm-hmm.
One of the criminals gets killed in Cary Grant's bathtub.
Yep. I remember that.
So now everybody's suspicious.
Yeah.
They hang out the next day. Things are going good between Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn.
Mm-hmm.
They go back to the hotel room. He's making her laugh. He jumps into the shower with his clothes on.
Yes.
She gets a call from Walter Matthau, who says, that man who isn't who he says he is,
mm-hmm.
the guy who helped sell the money with your husband didn't have a brother.
Mm.
So now she gets freaked out.
Yep.
They go to dinner. She ends up confronting him. He says, well, I wasn't him. I'm going to tell you the truth now. I'm just an average criminal, and all I want is the money.
Mm-hmm.
And, but this time I'm serious, and
mm-hmm.
I really do love you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So she eventually has to return at her job. And she does something where she gives announcements for the United Nations, I think.
I think so. I might have been asleep during that part, so anyway. You might be right about that, yes.
Yeah. Cary Grant gets, I think it's the night before, he gets chased up to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is about to fall over, but he doesn't.
Yes.
The next day, she's at the United Nations. Cary Grant comes to see her. And while he's there, the guy who almost fell off the roof gets killed.
Yep.
And the last guy in this crew calls Cary Grant and basically says, I know you did it. I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
And this is when I pieced together
yeah.
and who actually was guilty.
Right.
But he gets Audrey Hepburn. They go, and if I'm remembering the story right, they go back to the hotel room, look through the bag
mm-hmm.
of her dead husband's stuff, and try to figure out what's so valuable about it. They can't put it together.
Yeah.
She goes and does her thing. They go to this open market, and it hits Cary Grant that it must be the stamps on the envelope. Now, Audrey Hepburn's nephew, John Louis, which she said,
yes,
is really into stamps. So she gave him the stamps.
Yep.
He's there at the open market to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
He already sold them by the time Hepburn catches up to him.
Yep.
But the guy who she sold them to is a stamp collector, and he's not a thief, so he gives her the stamps back. And she's like, okay, I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
But not so fast. She decides to do the right thing, call Walter Matthau at the embassy, and say, I'm going to connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
By now, the other guy had died, and she believes that Cary Grant's going to call her next.
Mm-hmm.
So Grant starts chasing her and chases her, and eventually she runs into Walter Matthau, who we find out is a real killer, and the real man who was helping her husband back in the day to steal that money.
Mm-hmm.
He gets killed by Cary Grant, saves Audrey Hepburn. The next morning, she's going to give the money back to the treasurer at the American Embassy.
Right.
She goes into the office, and who's sitting there? Cary Grant, with a new name. And she's like, I'm in love with... He's like, let me guess, you have a wife, but you're divorced. And he's like, no, but I'll tell you, I'll put my real name on our marriage license. And she's like, marriage license?
Yes.
And then they end up falling in love.
And she's like, I love you. I don't even care what your name is.
The movie is. This movie is fun, but it has some plot holes in it.
Absolutely it does.
Yes.
Especially, why would she fall in love? And why would she fall in love with a known criminal? How did that happen?
The biggest plot hole I had was when she's being interviewed by the police near the beginning of the movie after her husband is killed. She doesn't know what her husband's first name is.
She doesn't even know what he does, what he was doing, or not, or what he has been doing lately, or what he does for work. It's like, well, how long were you married to this guy, or was it a marriage of convenience?
Mm-hmm.
You should have known what you married into. And she just kept saying, I don't know. And I'm like, how can you not know that? So it's implied that either she's been married to her husband for a very, very short time, or they have fallen, they have drifted apart from each other, and she just doesn't know him anymore. So.
Well, she really doesn't know him.
She really doesn't know him. Name. Exactly. Yes. But she's married to him.
And there are other complaints about the movie, like why would she fall in love with Cary Grant?
That's what I said.
But we were talking about the husband.
No.
Cary Grant's not the husband.
No, I said why would she fall in love with a known criminal?
Okay, you said that earlier.
AKA Cary Grant.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Yes, see, now you weren't paying attention.
Okay. And why would she take the stamps off of an envelope and give them to her nephew?
Exactly. And then why would that stamp collector give her the stamps?
Maybe he's a man of honor. I could believe that a little bit.
Yeah, it was very strange.
How did Cary Grant get into the Treasury's office at the end before Audrey Hepburn? Right. It isn't. Maybe it's possible there could have been a back door, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Right. I have flaws with this movie. I do too. Having said that, there are some good things about it. Yes. I mean, but the other thing was I was able to catch who did the killing 2/3 into the movie. Wow. I knew who the bad guy was. Yeah, and I didn't quite pick it up, but I think you explained it to me. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, it is interesting that he would be up and taking all calls at all hours of the night. Because think about it like this, too. This movie came out in 1963 before cell phones were really a thing. Mm-hmm. So how could he give her a number that she could reach him at day or night? Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, yeah. I did like it, though. It was good. I don't know if I'd watch it again. I might. I don't know. It was just... I'd give it a weak 7. I would agree with that. Yes. I would agree. Yes. Let's do some brief character analysis. Okay. What does Audrey Hepburn in this movie teach us about falling in love? Don't fall in love with don't fall in love with the wrong person. Or don't fall in love with someone that you barely know. Yes. Do you think that she even cared about her first husband? It didn't seem like she did. If she did, then she really was hiding it. She didn't even react when she had to identify him in the morgue. Do you believe that her and Cary Grant will last? No, I don't. I'll tell you why. Go ahead.
Well, number one, he kept changing his name, so she's not quite sure.
I like her line at the end of the movie when she's like, "What's your name today?" And he's like, "Brian." That didn't make me laugh.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
And the other ones, but I mean, she doesn't know what he's going to do as far as change his name and run away. You know, he's probably been running away because he is a career criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they last very long. I don't even think they get married.
They might get married, but I don't think they last long.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes. Are there any questions about this movie that you want to ask me?
What did you? Wasn't there a one of the crew, not crew, but the criminals who died on the way down in an elevator? Wasn't taking an elevator?
Yeah, I think that was the one right before Cary Grant goes to get Audrey Hepburn at her job, or right as he's doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one died
Early in the movie in his tub.
Right.
In
that
Cary
was
Grant's bathtub.
That was when I was like, "You nincompoop!"
Yes.
And he dies in his tub.
Oh.
Yes.
That might have been the other guy, but I hear what you're saying, babes.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions about this movie?
What was and I think you told me this earlier, but I want you to repeat it again. What was the one thing that really convinced you that Walter Matthau was the actual killer? Not just because of he giving Audrey Hepburn the number where she could call him at any time of the day.
The thing that really convinced me is when the other living criminal, who's not Cary Grant, calls him and says, "I know you did it. I'm coming to get you now." Mm-hmm. Because if that guy was the real killer and he would have called Cary Grant, he would have said something like, "You're next," instead of, "I know you did it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay, I see.
Because at that point, why hide? Because you have all the power.
Yes.
Since Cary Grant would probably be afraid of you.
True.
Right? So you could use that to your advantage if you were the real killer.
True, yeah.
And that's what convinced me, well, if it's not either them, it has to be somebody else, and the most logical person is Walter Matthau.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Very good.
This is a really good early performance by him, though. Yes. I liked Matthau's acting in this movie. And I told you that he's in another movie that I enjoyed him in earlier in his career, even before this, called A Face in the Crowd.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes.
Really good.
Yes, you will. Any other thoughts on the movie?
No.
Would you recommend it to people in your real life?
Yes, I would. Despite the plot holes, it was really good.
Nice.
For the most part.
Nice. Then we watched another film, another Grant and Hepburn movie.
Except
a different lady.
Except it was
Catherine.
It was Katharine Hepburn, who was not related to Audrey Hepburn. I thought for the longest time that they were.
No.
And
the movie is called Upbringing Baby. Baby Bringing.
Bringing Up Baby.
Bringing Up Baby.
Yes.
Would you like me to give it an overview?
Yes, please.
Okay. I was really excited when this movie was starting, and in the opening credits, it's directed by Howard Hawks.
Nice. Who
would team up with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell in a movie that I really enjoyed.
Not Rosalind Carter.
Yeah, Rosalind Russell. Yes. In a movie that I love called
His Girl Friday.
Yes.
And we talked about that in another episode. It was really good.
In an episode called His Girl, Jaylo.
Yes.
But anyways, that got me thrilled.
Yes.
Stoked for this.
Yes.
Okay. This movie starts off, we find out that your man, Grant's
David, I forgot what his last name was.
It works in the dinosaur field.
Yep.
And he's expecting this exciting bone to come tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That'll help him complete his statue. At the same time, that's also going to be his wedding day.
Yep.
His girl is talking to Cary Grant, whose character's name is...
I said his name was David.
David.
Yes. The girl that his fiance is Alice.
And Alice is a little bit of a bitch. She keeps going on about his career, and this would be the most important thing to you.
And I don't want to have any domestic duties because this is going to be our project. And I'm like, but you're marrying this guy. She was weird. She was very weird. I'm like, I don't know any woman that would say, I want you to focus on your job instead of marrying me. It doesn't make any sense.
No. But maybe some women do feel that way, and they just don't express it in words.
Okay. It's a little odd, but okay.
Okay. She says, you have to meet with Mr. Peabody and go golfing today.
Peabody.
Because he pees on women's bodies.
No, that's his name. Mr. Peabody.
Yes. He's going to donate a bunch of money to this dinosaur museum. But you got to convince him. You got to wine and dine him.
Yep.
So he goes to the golf course, finds out that Peabody isn't rich himself, but he represents a lot of wealthy clients.
Mm-hmm.
Cary Grant meets Katharine Hepburn, who plays... Susan in this movie.
Yes.
And Susan is a little bit of a rich weirdo.
And, yes, a really weird rich girl that's very adventurous. Let's say.
At one point, Cary Grant and Susan have a confrontation in the parking lot of the golfing course.
Mm-hmm.
She steals his car, but it's one of those old style cars, so David jumps onto the side of it.
Yep.
And they drive away unfortunately.
Well, he's on the side of it.
Yes. The next time we see David, it's at a dinner where he is trying to talk to Mr. Peabody. But your girl Susan kind of intervenes and drives David crazy.
Yes.
So he leaves, and the next day comes.
Yes.
He gets his mail and the bone that he needs.
Yes.
David's also excited because he's getting married at 3. And at least that's what he thinks.
Yes, that's what he thinks.
Until he gets a call from Susan, where she explains that she is now the proud mother
of a leopard
named Baby.
Yes.
At one point, she trips, but she pretends that Baby is attacking her so that David will come back and save her.
Right.
So he runs out. She has a smile on her face, this big shit-eating grin. Comes over, sees that she's okay, goes into her bathroom, and sees the leopard who's staring right at him. So he leaves, explains that this is none of his problem. He takes a elevator downstairs. Katharine Hepburn gets the leopard to walk down the flight of stairs and meet David. They're walking, they're outside. The leopard is parallel to David, but he's not looking at him.
Right.
Katharine Hepburn is driving this car. She goes beside them and she says, okay, the leopard is now your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
He looks over, sees the leopard who lies down next to him.
Yes.
And then he runs to the car. Next thing you know, we see Baby, the leopard,
mm-hmm.
in between Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, but Baby is in the backseat.
Yeah.
And I was amazed by this because
I know
this movie was made in the 30s and they couldn't exactly use computer animation.
And that was a real leopard.
Yeah, so I was just like going crazy with this. Like, wow, he's sitting right between them.
Yeah, but they must have trained him really well. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end of this. They, at one point, decide that they need to stop and get food for Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Cary Grant gets out of the vehicle, goes in, buys 30 pounds of sirloin, I believe.
It's 30 pounds of raw sirloin steak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, 30 pounds of steak? It's like, yes, and I'd like it raw. I'm like, right.
Susan parked by a fire hydrant.
Yes.
A constable walks by as David is in the store and threatens to give her a ticket. She explains that it's not really her car because Baby jumped into another one.
Uh-huh.
David comes out.
Yes.
Gets into the new car. They steal it and go away to Katharine Hepburn's aunt's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Aunt Elizabeth.
Aunt Elizabeth.
Old battle axe.
Old battle axe that she is.
Yeah.
Park into the garage, put Baby in a special area. David goes to take a shower, Susan sends his clothes off to the dry cleaning because she wants to marry him.
I thought she gives. So the gardener's taking it to the dry cleaning.
Yes.
Okay.
He has to wear this weird robe, and it's forced to answer the door. And Susan's aunt comes in with her dog,
George. The little George.
Mm-hmm.
George. Yes.
David goes into the bedroom, and I think he's taking another shower or changing.
Oh no, I think he does, but Susan was going to take a shower as well.
Yes, but she opens up his box with the bone in it.
Right.
And then just walks away.
Yeah.
George comes in, takes the bone. Yep. David comes in, find out that his bone is missing, and Katharine Hepburn and him are now chasing George around the farm to find this bone.
Yep.
They can't find it. Eventually, it's dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
The aunt had her friend come over.
Yep.
What's homeboy's name?
It was Was it Mr. Peabody?
No, he's coming over, but late.
I can't remember what the guy's name was.
In any event, this guy was into big game hunting, and Katharine Hepburn told her aunt that
Cary Grant's character David was into game hunting, and that's why they're digging holes in the yard.
They sit down. David keeps going back and forth between the kitchen and the dining area. They hear something. David and Hepburn realize that it's Baby who has escaped, and they go looking for Baby. Soon everybody's looking for Baby.
Right.
Across town, there was a accident at a circus when another leopard mauled a man. So we should say that at one point, David comes back into the house and calls the zoo and explains to them, you need to come out and help us. Katharine Hepburn is not too happy with this, but they can't stop it. Truck's coming. The mean leopard is put into the back of this truck and taken away.
Right.
At some point during the night, they see this truck and they think that Baby's in the back seat.
Yep.
The vehicle is stopped. Cary Grant goes to distract everybody while Katharine Hepburn frees the mean animal.
The mean leopard, yep.
Yes.
And the leopard keeps snapping at her.
Yes.
She can't figure out why.
A bunch of other things happen. Eventually they end up in jail. I'll make this somewhat quick.
Yes.
And eventually she gets released, goes and gets the mean leopard while Baby is just like chilling out with everybody. She comes back with the mean leopard. Baby just leaves the room, and they have to struggle to get the mean leopard into one of the cells. Fast forward, David's girl has broken up with them. He's, working on the dinosaur. Katharine Hepburn comes in with the missing bone. She puts it down on the table. She climbs up this ladder. They're talking. The ladder's swinging back and forth.
Yep.
She grabs onto the statue of the dinosaur to hoist herself up where Cary Grant is standing. Gets up safely, and then the statue collapses. And she looks at him and she's like, do you forgive me? Do you still love me? Oh, I know you do. And she hugs him and that's where the movie ends. This movie is not as good as His Girl Friday, but it's better than Charade.
I would probably give it a strong 7.
I would too.
And it was better than Charade.
Yes.
Because there wasn't a lot of plot holes, but it was really funny. And at parts it was confusing because because Aunt Elizabeth was trying to find somebody was trying to find Susan, and she said, "My niece isn't here. She's in bed." And then later she goes, "I have no niece." And then Cary Grant is like, "I'm the niece."
I was telling you earlier
that
I've watched a couple of Katharine Hepburn movies, but I never really got her. I didn't hate her or anything, but I didn't get why she was this big star.
Right.
But she definitely had that it factor in this movie.
Absolutely.
It's hard not to watch her chemistry with Cary Grant.
And the animals.
The scenes that they're in together work really well in this movie when it's the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she's very good.
Did I ever tell you, babes?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just kidding. Telling you now.
I'm just kidding. Go on.
Before I moved back to Portland,
yes,
I was visiting here with somebody I used to be cool with.
Yes.
And he had his girlfriend out.
Uh-huh.
His girlfriend's kind of a bitch, right? But we're talking one day, and we're talking about movies, and she's like, oh yeah, I like a lot of older movies, and one of the movies he names was Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. And I'd heard about it before then, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
And I thought about that last night. Oh, I'm enjoying something that she enjoys too.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem.
That shouldn't be a problem.
She's no longer in your life anymore, so.
No. And
yeah.
I don't want to go into her detail.
I know. Well, we can talk about that privately.
Kind of stuck up.
Yes.
A little bit of a C word.
Oh.
But that's a story for another time.
Well, I kind of can understand why you would feel that way too.
Oh God, don't even get me started on the Aspen trip. But
we'll have to talk about that later.
We'll talk about Aspen later.
Okay.
Oh
my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
But getting back to this movie, I can see why it's considered a classic.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. The only Katharine Hepburn, no wait, was it Audrey Hepburn or Katharine Hepburn that was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
That was Katharine Hepburn.
Okay, so Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and Bringing Up Baby were the only two movies I've seen with her.
You lie.
What?
You've seen her in something else.
What was it?
Think Babes. What did we watch last summer? It was her, and it was another Cary Grant movie made a couple.
Oh
years
wait,
later.
Philadelphia Story.
Yes.
Was also with Jimmy Stewart.
That's correct.
Okay, that was a really funny movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like this movie better though.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so 3 movies, excuse me.
Okay.
Of Katharine Hepburn. And I'd like to see more Audrey Hepburn stuff.
She's good in some stuff. I liked her in Sabrina.
I didn't even see, I've seen the newer Sabrina in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really, it was good, but I would have loved to have seen the original Sabrina.
The 1954 version is pretty good.
Yeah.
Breakfast at Tiffany's is good, but there's a lot of racism in it.
Oh. Well, that's a lot. That happens with a lot of old movies. Though.
Yeah, but this one is even extreme for that.
Is that worse than the one movie we saw with what's her face, Betty Davis?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that movie that we saw with Betty Davis, the one where they were on the plantation.
Okay. That's a hard one for me to answer.
Because if we're talking about blatantly racist.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the argument I can make why Breakfast at Tiffany's is more racist.
Yeah.
Is because even though black people in Jezebel are all portrayed as morons and idiots.
Yes.
At least they cast actual black people in the movie.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Instead of like a crazy Japanese person who's just a white guy.
So they hired a white guy to play a Japanese person?
We talked about this before. We talked about this morning.
Oh, that's right. Mickey Rooney was, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get your point.
Yeah. My Fair Lady is really good, but you've seen that.
That is a good movie, yes. I have seen it.
I used to be a big Audrey Hepburn fan, but then I started reading stuff about her, like how she stole the part from Julie Andrews, who was supposed to be the lead in My Fair Lady.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, whether or not she did, she was good in My Fair Lady.
I would say those are her best movies that you haven't seen. It's Sabrina, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and My Fair Lady.
I have seen My Fair Lady.
Okay, so Sabrina and Breakfast at Tiffany's would be the next films. Wait Till Dark is kind of too long, and she plays a blind lady in it.
How long was it?
I don't know. It felt long when I watched it as a kid.
Okay. Well, you were how old?
10 or 11.
Oh, see that, you might appreciate it now.
It's possible.
Wait until Wick wakes up.
Oh my goodness. That'll be a good name for a movie. Wait until Wick wakes up. And it'll be about people, they want to do fun stuff, but they have to wait for me.
And you're not like a baby, you're an adult. Rick's still napping. Come back later.
Yeah, come back later.
Rick doesn't want to come out and play.
You can wait here, but you got to be very quiet because Rick isn't awake yet.
That's funny.
Yes. I've seen a lot of Audrey Hepburn movies. I want to see more Katharine Hepburn movies.
Yes.
Yes.
And I also want to see Sidney Poitier movies.
That might be fun, babes.
Yeah, because there's some old stuff like I haven't seen. The only movie that he was in that I've seen was, of course, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But I've never seen like To Sir with Love and some other things.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard that he's won. Did he win Oscars? He probably did, right?
He did.
He's critically acclaimed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going to do a song lyric, but I won't.
Oh.
Critically acclaimed, still expensive. I'm sorry, okay.
Okay. I remember seeing an interview with Oprah and Sidney Poitier, and he was really impressive. Yes.
Nice.
I thought he was very impressive, very smart.
Well, good.
He's been married to his wife, and is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
He's been married to his wife, and I think they have 6 daughters.
He had daughters from a previous marriage.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay. Oh, okay, before his current wife, then.
Yes. But we don't have to turn this episode into the Sidney Poitier show.
No.
Getting back to this movie, I had a few major flaws with it. I didn't get why Katharine Hepburn was so obsessed with David.
I know. I didn't either.
I wanted him at one point to really man up and kick her out of his life.
I wanted him to say, look, I'm going to go whether you want me to go or not. I'm going to marry Alice because I wanted to marry Alice.
There's a couple points where it gets close to that, but it never really goes there.
Right. And why would, and you made the point this morning, why would he want to marry any of them?
Exactly.
Alice is weird and kind of...
Oh, we don't have to answer that.
I'm not answering it.
He represents a beta male in this movie, which is an interesting casting choice for somebody like Cary Grant.
Yes.
Not Cary Grant.
Not Cary Grant.
Because he's usually the alpha, if you've noticed.
I would agree, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But let's get to some character questions.
Yes.
What's Katharine Hepburn's name in this movie?
Her name is Susan.
What does Susan teach us about being spoiled?
Well, she is a typical rich girl, I think. We don't know exactly how she got the leopard, right? She got the leopard.
I think she said her brother sent it to her.
Okay, that's crazy. Who would send their sister a leopard for a gift?
Mm-hmm.
It's and that, she was spoiled. She lied about things to try to get David to marry her. We don't know why. It was like it's mine, and I want it now. That's how I see it. That's what I think her mentality is.
Yes.
It's mine, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get it.
Yes.
Because I want it now.
Do you think that these characters end up getting married?
No.
What do you think happens?
I don't think he marries any of them because Alice leaves him. I don't even... Oh, yeah. One thing I forgot to bring up. How did Alice appear out of nowhere and break off the engagement?
I think what happened is, remember, Peabody was coming over to the house later because he was representing Katharine Hepburn's aunt who was thinking about donating money to the place where Cary Grant worked. And so I think Peabody came over, heard the story, and went to get Cary Grant's girl. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong. That didn't really add up to me either.
I never understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that just doesn't make any sense, but what do I know?
How much longer does Susan live after this experience?
I think she lives for a long time, but I think she lives... I don't think she gets together with anybody.
You think she dies alone?
Well, that's hard to say. Because it almost seems like she's kind of in her own world and she's thinking about herself. Would you say?
Yes.
I think she may die alone.
Do you think she has any regrets on her deathbed?
Possibly.
Like what?
Well, I mean, remember when she was saying, oh, I'm so sorry about the things that I made you go through? And, maybe she had a twinge of regret that how she treated David. Because he really had a he really wanted to marry Alice, and she literally took him away from her.
Does David have a long life?
Well, I don't know if he'll have a long life if he's with her.
Oh.
Well, maybe he will. I don't know. Or maybe he'll have a long enough life to leave her.
That's the important thing.
She's crazy.
Yes.
But I will say this, the upside of them getting married, which we don't know about, is that his days will be filled with a lot of adventures.
That's true.
With him, her, and the leopard.
Yes. And Bebe.
And maybe George, if they visit Aunt Elizabeth.
Yes.
Aunt Elizabeth was a battle axe.
That's true, but she was a rich battle axe.
That's right.
Yes.
Rich battle axes are great. No, just kidding.
Are there any questions about this movie that you want to ask me?
Oh. What do you think? I mean, you may not be able to answer this, but before Alice is engaged to David, what do you think she was before they met? If you could.
My theory is that she is an ambitious woman who knows the limitations of her time. And that leads her to look for men that she can push into success, to look for beta males, that she can kind of pull the purse strings behind the scenes and make successful and control them. So she's been looking for, if not David, a David type for most of her life. That's my theory.
Okay.
Probably very smart and very manipulative.
For sure. I mean, already when she said that we don't have to have a honeymoon, we're going to focus on your job and not our marriage. Already it's like, ooh, that's a red flag right there.
Oh.
She's very manipulative.
Yeah, we could.
Okay, so another question. Who was that guy in Say Anything that was Christina Ricci's boyfriend again?
Didn't say anything. She was in.
I mean, not Say Anything. Anything else? That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Jason Biggs, right?
Jason Biggs. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that compared to the Cary Grant's character and Jason Biggs' character, who's more of a beta male?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna go with, and it's close, right? So I'm not committed to this choice, but if you're asking me today what you are, Cary Grant.
I'm surprised. Why is that?
Well, because he doesn't. At the end of anything else, Jason Biggs leaves Christina Ricci.
That's true.
Right, and it's not that Cary Grant leaves. What's the first girl's Anna?
Alice.
Alice. It's not that he leaves Alice. Alice leaves him. And it's not that he embraces Katharine Hepburn and says, I love you, as much as she embraces him and says, oh, you forgive me, oh, you do love me.
Well, he did admit that he loves her, but whether that was really true or not.
It kind of slips out, though.
Yeah, it does.
So that's why I think he's more of a beta male. Also, you got to consider the time. This movie, Bringing Up Baby, was released in 1938.
Yes.
And anything else came out about 65 years later when society had changed. And it was more okay for men to be beta males. But yet, Jason Biggs made the move and broke up with Christina Ricci. So that's why I'd say that Cary Grant gets it. Okay.
Because I thought you were going to say Jason Biggs because he's too much of a wuss.
He is.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's close.
I mean, he's definitely more wussier than Cary Grant.
Yes.
But Cary Grant didn't jump at the opportunity to take the quote-unquote bull by the horns. Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess I would agree with you on that level.
Thank you.
But Jason Biggs is definitely wussier.
That's right. He's a pussy.
Yo, boy.
Yes. In this case, you are not what you eat.
Wah, wah, wah. Oh, that's just bad.
Thank you, babes. Is there anything else you want to say about this movie?
No, but it's really fun.
Yes.
It's really fun. I really liked her in this movie. I liked her, how energetic she was. She was just crazy.
Or at least I think of her as this old lady with Parkinson's who used to eat people.
To beat people?
Eat people.
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
controversy.
her nickname was Cannibal Hepburn.
Wah, wah, wah.
Read about the African queen.
But Was she the main character in that movie?
I think so. I haven't seen it. It was her and Humphrey Bogart.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you have a hard time seeing it?
Would I?
Yeah.
Just because they ate humans?
Because it was possible that they may have ate humans.
I'd still watch the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're speculating that it's possible that they did.
Based on what I've read, it sounds pretty likely that they did.
There is no way to prove it, though.
Well, there's no way to disprove it. It seems pretty likely.
Uh-oh.
I heard a funny thing happens during the making of that movie.
Uh-oh.
She was talking with John Huston and Humphrey Bogart, and at one point, Humphrey Bogart says to her, Catherine, you have somebody's ears in between your teeth. Anyways.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I'm glad to know you like it and that you would recommend this movie.
I would.
Yes.
If you really want to watch a crazy adventure and you want to follow in Katharine Hepburn's footsteps, which I would recommend that you don't. It's crazy.
Yes.
But watch it. It's really fun. And don't touch leopards.
No.
They could hurt you.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to discuss? Any dreams or?
I didn't have any dreams.
And I didn't either.
Sorry. Okay. I cannot vouch for that because I don't have any dreams last night.
Do you feel good about this, babes? Is there any other topics? Any other topics?
No.
No, I just burped.
I know you did.
When I said topics.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounded kind of fun.
All right, babes. In that case, I think we'll wrap up.
Yes, we will.
All right, bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.